He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of Story Power TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J. Loren Norris.
It takes a lot of training, and there are books out there on reading body language, listening to tonality, listen to the way people communicate, the things that they say. It takes a lot of training, though, to be the kind of person who can read other people like a book. Now, if you don't have that skill set, there's a lot of training available for you to become a better person to read others like a book. But have you ever picked up a book off the shelf and realized, I've already read this, and the cover didn't look like that before? Or, I know this author, they're a best-selling author, but the inside of the book is, it's not as good as other stuff they've written. Maybe it was their first book, or it was ghostwritten. There's also those people that they have all the outside showings of wealth as an example, or education as an example, and yet you're not sure that's truth that you're dealing with. It may be a little sus, a little suspect. That contrast is what I want to talk about in this episode of Leading Leaders.
Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.
I'm J. Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and I think we've probably all encountered someone who we feel like once we've met them face to face, we realize we've been catfished. They've got all the filters and all the online personality and all the TikTok videos that you could ever imagine about how grand and successful and lovable and sweet they are. But the first time you meet them, you're like, whoa, what just happened here? This is not what I thought I was going to get. We get the same thing with politicians when they run for a race, and they have the same drums they beat all up to the election day, and the election day happens, and they get in office, and you're like, wait, you're not voting with or writing policy on or siding with any of the people that you told us were important to you before you got there. We get the same thing with sales videos and sales companies that are only focused on the sale. They want to get the transaction done. They don't care about delivering on the backside. They don't have a 30-day guarantee or any kind of guarantee because they can't guarantee that you're going to get any results at all, or that the product's even going to work, or that the product's even going to show up. I was watching a video from a guy last night who ordered some very specific parts for his car. When the shipping company never delivered them, he got into a long, lengthy battle with the shipping company. Finally, a fan of his YouTube channel said, hey, I found your parts. They are on sale again from another vendor, the same ones that you ordered. And so he called the new vendor and ordered them again and had them delivered again. And he actually got them this time. And all he asked from the shipping company was, can I get my money back? And they said, no, it's not our fault. See, leaders value the ability to find those people who are honest and transparent. Leaders understand that whether it's a sales organization or it's an individual that you're dealing with, whether it's an individual you might hire, or a relationship that you're going to have with someone for a long term, whether it's a politician or your bank. We all value one thing, and we don't always put our finger on it until it's too late. What is that one thing? Transparency. See, transparency it's right up there in those things that are hard to do, like integrity, honesty, tell it like it is. Those are hard things to do for a lot of people because they've lived all of their life with this deep regret that they're not everything that they want to be. And so this contrast kicks in really fast where they say, well, I have to tell the world about me what the world wants to hear about me, whether that's the truth or not. Back in the day when computers were just becoming famous enough, or let's say user-friendly enough for the average person to have one. In fact, I think it was Steve Jobs who said, I just want to see a computer in the home of everyone. Or maybe that was the guy from IBM, or maybe it was Bill Gates. I just want to see a computer on every desk or every tabletop at every home, the personal computer. Back in those days, we used to type on a computer kind of like you typed on a typewriter. And so if you wanted a poem to shape like a moon or a sun, you had to literally type and return and type and return and type and return. And then if you messed it up, you had to start all over again and put that line in another place. Remember how many spaces and tabs you use. Trust me, I have poems shaped like things and people that I took days to write. Fortunately, one day I bought a typewriter that had a memory, and if I could put the right spaces in it and get it to print out the way I wanted to, I could save the file in the typewriter and it would print the same thing again. Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. And then along came this thing called word processing. And the big label on the side of the box for word processing software, which was not cheap at all, was Wysiwyg. Wysiwyg. It was awesome. What did it mean? What you see is what you get. Wysiwyg. So if you wanted to put a blue box on the top left corner of the page and then write a paragraph beside it, and then put a pink box and write a paragraph on the other side of it, and then put a yellow box and put the text in the box, you could literally drag the boxes onto the page on the screen where you want them. And in theory, when you looked at it on the screen and said, that's the way I want my newsletter to look, when you hit the print button, that's exactly what you got. I'm sad to say that wasn't always exactly the case, but it tried. It tried really hard. It was kind of like back in the day we had this program called Dragon Speak. And on the box it said, you talk, it types. The implication was it would type exactly what you said. Anybody tried to use Siri to type a text for you? You talk and she makes stuff up? Well, Dragon Speak was worse than that because the intelligence at the time, in the early 90s, mid-90s, was not that good. The AI software that tried to figure out what it was that you actually said, especially if you had a little bit of an accent, or you said them words a little bit short, like anybody, some of them people I know from back home, all of a sudden you got gibberish on the screen, and you would spend more time editing and finding the words that weren't words in your text than you actually spent speaking in the first place. You would have spent less time just typing it out. But see, Wysiwyg was a huge development. Just the notion that you could arrange things exactly the way you expected to see them on the output. Now, there were a lot of things that we wanted to design in the form of a newsletter or a poster or a postcard that Wysiwyg just wasn't capable of. You see some of the grander graphic designs today where there's a box on the left and it kind of fades to another color across the page and the text is a contrast. But it may be like half of the word is white and then the next half is gray and then the next half is blue because that contrasts better with the background. Well, that's pretty intelligent software that does that in the design realm. It used to be that if you wanted the first three letters of a word to be blue and the next three to be white, you had to go in and manually change that. And heaven forbid you bump that box to the left or the right because now your letters just fade right in and you can't distinguish them. Wysiwyg had its limitations. But what if you could push a Wysiwyg button for the people you meet? What if you could, like an easy button, just slap it and go, yeah, this is all suspect to me. I don't trust you. I don't believe that your resume is what you say your resume is, that your dating past is what you say your dating past is. I don't believe that your income is what you say your income is. And I want to hit the easy button. I want the Wysiwyg. I want all of a sudden, I want like a lifestyle x-ray to be able to see the truth about this person that I'm about to deal with. How awesome would that be? Wouldn't it be cool if you could meet people and they would just, I don't know, be honest? Just tell you the truth about their agenda? Tell you the truth about what they think, what they believe, how they feel about you? what their goal is, what their business intentions are when it comes to dealing with you? Wouldn't you feel better if you could just deal with people who are honest to begin with? Even if when they tell you the truth, you're like, whoa, that was more than I needed to know. Or they tell you the truth and you're like, yeah, that kind of hurts my feelings. Would you rather have a truth that hurts your feelings or a lie that makes you feel good and betrays you in the end? See, that's really kind of what I'm talking about. There are a whole lot of people out there today who want to cover over how they think and how they feel and hide what they believe. They don't want to tell you the truth. They want to tell you what you believe to be true, or they want to tell you what makes you feel good about them. They want to tell you what will make you do business with them, but they don't want to tell you who they truly are, what they truly think, what they truly believe, what they truly feel, because, well, that would reveal too much. And they don't trust you with the inside secrets of them. See, it's one thing to realize that people lie to you because they're afraid of their own mistakes, their own faults, their own past judgments. But the more frightening thing is to think how little they trust you to have an integrous relationship with them when you know the truth about them. Now, a lot of people believe that's what good marketing is for. That good marketing will help you to cover over those things that you don't like. I can tell you there are people out there who have phenomenal marketing plans, but the first interaction with the business, after you've got past the marketing, after you've begun to transact in a relationship with them, to buy a product from them, to spend time with them, in that moment, that first transaction reveals to you the truth that the marketing covered up. And suddenly, you're back to square one thinking, how did I get fooled again? See, right then is when you wish you had a Wysiwyg button. Just smack the Wysiwyg button and suddenly what you see is what you get. What's right in front of you, the words coming out of their mouth, everything they're telling you, every promise that they're making, everything that they're revealing is true. It's not just transparent for the purpose of winning you over. You know that fake transparency. You've met people like that, right? They want to tell you all the deepest, darkest secrets, but they've made them all up. No, I'm talking about genuine truth, genuine revelation about who they are, telling you the truth about themselves, about the mistakes they've made, the successes they've won, the people they've helped, the things they've done. Now, I'm not talking about running around with your kimono wide open and showing everything. That's called a flasher. There's laws against that. I'm talking about being honest about who you are and what you've done and what you haven't done yet. Recently had a client meeting, and in the client meeting they said, tell us how you've done X, Y, and Z. And so I answered those questions. We went through the whole thing. This was a potential client. I ended up not landing the client. Because at one point they asked me, tell us what other companies like ours, and they were very specific on the type of company, tell us what other companies like ours you have served in this exact way. And my answer was, the process that I use isn't specific to an industry. The process that I use in leadership communication training, strategic communication, that I call story power, it's not specific to an industry. It's specific to humans dealing with humans. And so if you deal with humans, it's an extremely effective tool. They say, well, but we want to know that you've written a sales process for an industry like ours. Nope, can't say that I have. Would the tool that I use work for that? Absolutely. Would it improve on the process you already have? Absolutely. Do I have a sales background and understand what a sales call process looks like? Absolutely. I've been through all the best sales training in the world with the Q and Verizon and others. But I haven't done the one thing that to them seemed to be the most important. Now, I could have lied and told them that I had. I could have made something up. That would be the typical sales thing, right? Say yes, get the sale, close the deal, collect the money, and then figure out how on the backside. I know people who live by that mantra. And I think there are times that you need to say that you can do it and agree to do it, even when it's going to be a stretch. But don't do that under falsehood. Don't do that with a little bit of sus in your tone, in your nature, or even in yourself. If you feel suspect saying it, then you're probably suspect trying to do it. That should be true across all relationships. A dating relationship, a Facebook friend relationship, a LinkedIn relationship, a client, a vendor relationship, or an employee-employer relationship. You should be able to tell the truth about who you are, what you're capable of, what you've accomplished in the past, and what your goals are for the future. And if you can't, it's time to spend some more time alone staring in the mirror and asking, who is that person that you pretend to be? Who is that person that you want to be? I believe we have to set stretch goals, and I believe we have to do things that we've never done before if we want to be in a place that we've never been before. If we want to be the kind of person that we want to grow up to be, we're going to have to stretch. We're going to have to do some things that we've never done in our past. We're going to have to learn some things. We're going to have to sacrifice. We're going to have to humble ourselves. But as a leader, you've got to appreciate and value Wysiwyg. What you see is what you get. And trust me, the law of the picture applies here. People do what people see. If they see you being transparent and honest, even sometimes to a fault, if they see you expressing exactly what you're thinking and what you're feeling, not with the intent of offending other people with your authenticity, but with the intent of being authentic so that things can be worked out, the people around you will begin to do the same thing. You're probably not going to find the easy button for Wysiwyg. There's not one you can just smack and instantly see through people who are lying to you. But there's plenty of data out there. There are lots of books, from how to know when someone's lying to you, to how to read body language, to supreme negotiation from hostage negotiators. All those books are out there. I have them all. Study them. Get to know people. Get to know how people act when they're trying to hide something. Get to know what kind of phraseology people use when they're trying to impress you. Get to know when that phraseology itself distinguishes something fake about them. You'll save yourself a whole lot of headache. Or we recently had a politician who had to step down from office because everything they told the electing public that got them in office was provably a lie. They literally went down the checklist of, this is what will get me in office, and they said it, even though it wasn't true. That's a frightening idea. I don't know which is more frightening, though, that somebody would have the gall to do that, or that we have a public that's gullible enough to believe it. I really wish there was a Wysiwyg button. What you see is what you get. You're going to get exactly what you think is being offered to you. No catfish, no filters, no lies on the resume, no padded experience or education, just the truth. If there was a button like that, I would certainly carry one around in my pocket. But there's not. And there's not for you either. So my devotion to my life is to be a Wysiwyg kind of person. What you see is what you get. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get that. Not everybody's going to like me. I get that. Some people are going to be downright repelled by my integrity, my honesty, my transparency. I get that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because I'd rather be the kind of person that I say that I am. Even when I say I'd rather be more like this. But right now I'm not there yet. I'd rather be that honest with myself and others than to be a liar. Just not me. I did it long enough. I lived in the shame and the hatred of who I was. I hated me so bad I wanted to end me for many decades of my life. I'm not there anymore. And that allows me to be transparent. So, if you're watching Leading Leaders podcast, I want you to know this is a Wysiwyg program. What you see is what you get. I am who I am. I will be who I am. And as I change, hopefully that's for the better. Maybe you'll get to see the benefit of that. I hope you'll stick with me, but I hope you know what you see is what you get. I am who I say I am. I'm going to challenge you as a leader to do the same thing. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
Loren is a master teacher on storytelling, and I learned so much. I'm really going to have to sit down and go back through everything, and I think I might have to have some more coffees with Loren, but it was totally worth my time, and I really highly recommend it if you're looking to grow your ministry, grow your business, grow your career. Loren will serve you well.
Thank you.